Good day, everyone. I am Aliyah B. Bradistina, BS Ed English 3. So, today I will going to discuss the Module 1, which is the teacher and the school curriculum. So, before we go, let me show you first the objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students should be able to identify the educational levels, enumerate and explain the types of curricula in school, cite the importance of knowing the types of curricula in school. So, lesson 1, the curricula in school. So, the curriculum of a school is the formal and informal content and process by which learners gain knowledge and understanding, develop skills, and alter attitudes, appreciations, and values under the auspices of that school. So, in our current Philippine educational system, different schools are established in different educational levels which have corresponding recommended curricula. So, there are 3 educational levels. The first is basic education, the second is technical vocational education, and the last is higher education. So, basic education, it includes kindergarten, grade 1 to grade 6 for elementary, and for secondary, grade 7 to grade 10 for the junior high school, and grade 11 to grade 12 for the senior high school. So, each of the levels has its specific recommended curriculum. So, let's proceed the second types of educational levels. So, the second types of educational levels is technical vocational education. This is past secondary technical vocational educational and training taken care of by Technical Educations and Skills Development Authority, or what we call TESDA. So for the textbook track and senior high schools of DepEd and TESDA work in close coordination. So let's proceed to the last types of educational levels. So, higher education, it includes the baccalaureate or bachelor degrees and the graduate degrees or masters and doctorate, which are under the regulation of the Commission on Higher Educations, or what we call the CHED. So, have you realized that in every classroom there are several types of curriculum operating? So, today we were going to look into each one type of curricula in school. So, according to Allen Glatthorn, as cited by Bilbao, describes 7 types of curriculum operating the schools. So, there are 7 types curricular in the school. So, the first one is what we call the recommended curriculum. So, when we say recommended curriculum, it almost all of the curricula found in our schools are all recommended. So, for basic education, these are recommended by the Department of Education. For higher education, which by the Commission of Higher Education or CHED. And vocational technical education by Technical Education Skills Development Authority or TESDA. Then, these 3 government agencies oversee and regulate Philippine education. So, the recommendations come in the form of memoranda or policy standards and guidelines. So, other professional organizations or international bodies like UNESCO also recommends curricula in school. So, again, when we say recommended curriculum, it refers to the different memoranda or policy standards and guidelines. So, the second type of curricula is what we call written curriculum. So, this includes documents based on the recommended curriculum. So, they come in the form of course of study, syllabi, modules like what we have right now, books, instructional guides, among others, And the packet of this written curriculum is the teacher's lesson plan, and the most recent written curriculum is the K-12 for Philippine Basic Education. Diba? We are changed from basic education curriculum or back to the EVIC or what we call K-12 Enhanced Basic Education Curriculum. Okay, so that is written curriculum. And the third types of curriculum is what we call the thought curriculum. So when we say thought curriculum, from what has been written or planned, the curriculum has to be implemented or thought. So what is what we have observed in our daily teaching learning process? It is what we call thought curriculum. So the teachers and the learners will put life to the written curriculum, the skills of the teacher to facilitate learning based on the written curriculum with the aid of instructional materials and facilities will be necessary. So, the thought curriculum will depend largely on the teaching style of the teacher and the learning styles of the learner. So, when we say thought curriculum, it is the overall interaction of teachers and learners and everyday classroom setting. Okay, then, the four types of curriculum is what we call supported curriculum. So, when we say supported curriculum, it is described as a support materials that the teacher needs to make learning and teaching meaningful. So these include print materials like books, mga libro, charts, posters, worksheets, or non-print materials like PowerPoint presentation, movies, slides, models, realio, mock-ups, and other electronic illustration. So, supported curriculum also includes facilities, so it does not only include the different materials or teaching materials like books and etc. But also it includes different facilities that we have in our classrooms or in schools. We're learning, of course, outside or inside the four-wall building. So this include playground, science laboratory, audio-visual rooms, zoo, museum, market, or the plaza. So these are the places where authentic learning through direct experiences occur because from the word support, it supports the curriculum. So it refers to the different materials and places that support teaching learning process. So the fifth types of curriculum is what we call assessed curriculum. So thought and supported curricula have to evaluated or to be evaluated, rather to find out if the teacher has succeeded or not in facilitating learning. Diba? In our assessment learning, one we have the different types of assessment, the diagnostic which is happening before the start of the lesson to assess the strength and weaknesses of the students. And the second type of assessment is what we call formative. So, it happens during the instructions of the lessons in the process of oral recitation and so on and so forth. Then the last types of assessment is what we call diagnostic. That will be happen at the end of the lesson or unit, and it is recorded and like with the diagnostic and formative. So in the process of teaching an end of every lesson, as what I've said a while ago, or teaching episode, an assessment is made, and this is what we call summative assessment. So it can either be assessment for learning, which is formative assessment as learning, on assessment of learning, which is summative. So if the process is to find the progress of learning, then the assessed curriculum is for learning, which is formative. it should not be recorded, but if it is to find out how much has been learned or mastered, then it is assessment of learning, which is called summative assessment. So, in either way, such curriculum is the assessed curriculum. So that is assessed curriculum as one of the types of curricula in school. Then, the 6 types of curricula is what we call learned curriculum. So when we say learned curriculum, how do we know if the student has learned? We always believe that if a student in change and behavior, he or she has learned. So for example, from a non-reader to a reader, like what I have here in our presentation. Then from not knowing to knowing, or from being disobedient to being obedient. So the positive outcome of teaching is an indicator of learning. So we say that that students are learning. This is a change of the behavior. So these are measured by the tools in assessment, which can indicate the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor outcomes. So learned curriculum will also demonstrate higher order of the HATS and critical thinking and lifelong skill. So this is the last type of curricula, or what we call the hidden curriculum. So we see hidden curriculum. This curriculum is not deliberately planned but has a great impact on the behavior of the learner. So unlike with the 6 first types of curricula, this hidden curriculum is not deliberately planned. Wala jud ni siya giplano like sa recommended, written, thought, supported, assist, and learn. But it has a great impact on the behavior of the learner. So an example of this are the peer influence, school environment, media, parental pressure, societal changes, cultural practices, natural calamities, and some of the factors that create the hidden curriculum. Teachers should be sensitive and aware of this hidden curriculum. So teachers must have good foresight to include this in the written curriculum in order to bring to the surface what are hidden. In every teacher's classroom, not all of this curriculum may be present at one time. So in everyday setting in the teaching learning process. Okay, so that's all for the Module 1 and Lesson 1. Thank you for listening and God bless.